Hello grade 9, this is Batul, an English teacher from Taqarib School. In the previous video, we had an introduction about the most important discoveries from the past, including discoveries from China, Egypt, Mali, and India. We also had or found out the meanings of the word and created sentences for each one of them. In today's lesson, we're gonna have page 62, across continents. So look at this picture here. He's a person who's called Robert Falcon Scott. He was an explorer who wanted to discover the poles, the South Pole, with his crew, and he had faced many difficulties with his journey. So this text is about this personality, which is called, or who's called, Robert Falcon Scott. Now before we start, let's read the words here and find out the meanings of them. Number 1, lizard. Number 2, condition. Number 3, expedition. Number 4, explorer. Number 5, exposure. Number 6, frostbite. Number 7, pioneer. And the last word, tragic. Again, blizzard, condition, expedition, explorer, exposure, frostbite, pioneer, tragic. Let's start with the first word, which is blizzard. So blizzard is a noun meaning a very strong storm of snow and wind. For example, we had to wait till the blizzard calmed down because we couldn't walk in such cold and rough weather. Number 2, condition. So condition is a noun. It means the situation in which a person or thing is. The situation in which person or thing is. For example, Mr. Jamal could not work under such bad conditions. Number 3, expedition. What's the meaning of the word expedition? It's a noun meaning a long organized journey to unknown places. A long organized journey to unknown places. For example, the scientist went on a great expedition to find a lost temple. The scientist went on a great expedition to find a lost temple. Number 4, which is explorer. Explorer is a noun and it means a person who tries to discover new things, new stuff, new places around the world. For example, when I grow up, I want to be an explorer and discover new places in the world. And exposure. Exposure is a noun and means the negative effects on the body caused by being exposed to very cold weather. The negative effects on the body caused by being exposed to very cold weather. For example, 3 men died of exposure in the very bad weather of the Antarctic. 3 men died of exposure in the very bad weather of the Antarctic. Frostbite. Frostbite is a noun and means damage caused to the body by great cold. Damage caused to the body by great cold. For example, cover your hands and wear warm socks because frostbite is easily got in freezing weather. Pioneer. So pioneer is a noun and It means a person who is the first to do or invent something. For example, I wish I were the pioneer who was first to explore Antarctica. I wish I were a pioneer who was first to explore Antarctica. Tragic. Tragic is an adjective. It means causing the feeling of sadness. For example, the car accident, which hurt many people, was very tragic. Now, after we have finished discussing the words, let's read the text here about Scott's Race to the Pole. So the title is Scott's Race to the Pole. Let's start with the first paragraph. For the past century, people have admired Robert Falcon Scott, a pioneer who attempted to be the first person to the South Pole. In 1910, Scott led his second expedition to the Antarctic. He and his crew arrived in January 1911 and set up camp in McMurdo Sound. As they traveled south, they met awful conditions. Their sledges and ponies could not cope. Even the dogs had to turn back. Eventually, there were just 5 men left: Scott, Wilson, Oates, Bowers, and Evans. They battled on, but when they reached the South Pole on 17th of January 1912, they found a small tent with a Norwegian flag. The Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen reached the pole a month before Scott. Like all people who have been beaten, the men were extremely disappointed when they started their return journey. They struggled through blizzards. Evans died in February, and then Oates, who had severe frostbite, walked out into the freezing conditions on his 32nd birthday. He didn't return. The remaining 3 men finally died of starvation and exposure on 29th of March 1912. Tragically, they were only 20 kilometers from a food supply. 8 months later, a search party found their tent and their diaries. Their notebooks, letters, and diaries describe the tragic events. Since then, Scott's bravery has been greatly admired by the British people, and he has become a national hero. So in the next video, we're gonna discuss and analyze the text together. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.